Let's go on to the next file and learn how we can format our charts. Use File, Open, and choose the formatting file. I have to tell you, Excel gives us more ways to format a chart than you can ever imagine. Some formatting choices are global, a couple of clicks and you formatted the chart. Other choices allow you to get very detailed and make very specific elements on the chart. On our first worksheet, choose the chart to select it. You'll notice that there are 3 tabs under Chart Tools in the ribbon. Let's go to the Design tab. The first new element that we have is the Charts Layout group. Depending on what type of chart you have selected, Microsoft provides 6 to 12 different professionally designed layouts. I'll open the Layouts gallery, and I have to admit I'm drawn to the histogram layout. That's the 3rd row center icon. The legend at Microsoft is that if they bought a book and it required more than 2 pages to explain how to do something, they tried to make it be a single click. And this one is perfect. The steps to create a histogram in Excel 2003 were horrible. The settings were buried very deep in the interface, and it's wonderful that now in one click on the Charts Layout Gallery, we can create a histogram. Let's go on to our second worksheet, Chart Style. Now again, I'll ask you to click on the chart to select it. And this time, let's take a look at the large gallery on the right side of the design ribbon called Chart Styles. Microsoft gives us the 6 accent colors in our current theme, plus a black and white theme, plus a monochrome theme, plus a multicolored theme. The thumbnails along the bottom row are all on a dark background, which is perfect if you're going to copy your chart to PowerPoint. Other than that, the themes go from simple on the top row to more stylized in the middle and 5th rows. You'll see that in this case, the bars have a bevel and sort of a 3D effect. If we choose a different style, something from the top row, the bars have a simple effect. I call those the one-click changes. They're global, they affect the whole chart. Basically, open the gallery, choose one that looks good, and you're off to the races. Now, the next level of detail happens on the Layout tab. The center groups on the Layout tab offer most of the charting elements that you can customize. And within each dropdown, Microsoft has added the most popular choices. The theory is that you can open the dropdown and choose from the popular choices and never have to touch the Format dialog box. Let's just do a quick tour of some of the popular settings. Our chart currently doesn't have a chart title. If we look under the chart title icon, you'll see that we have a choice of above chart or a new choice that we never had before called Centered Overlay Title. This choice adds a title without shrinking the size of the plot area. Now, we get the very imaginative title of Chart Title. Perhaps Sales would be better there. An interesting thing, right after you add the chart title, you can just type the words, Sales, and hit Enter, and Excel will replace them. Later, after you've selected something else, and then come back to the title, it's best to select the characters and type a new title. You'll notice that by default, the legend is on the right-hand side of the chart. A lot of charting experts say that the legend should always be on the left or the top of the chart, so that way as your eye goes across the page, it sees the legend before it sees the data. If we open the legend dropdown to see what built-in choices we have, we can move the legend to the top, left, bottom, overlaid on the right, or overlaid on the left. Let's move it to the left. Our numbers happen to be in millions, so the numbers along the left axis, 5 million, 10 million, 15 million, frankly, it's wasting a lot of space for all those zeros. If we go to the Axes dropdown, we'll have to choose primary vertical axis, and now we have options to show the axis in thousands, millions, or billions. Now, I have to point out that these are the most popular choices. If we would actually go into the Format dialog box, there are options for trillions, but Microsoft decided that that wasn't one of the top options, so it's not here in this dropdown. Now we're wasting less space with the zeros. You'll also notice that Microsoft added the tag millions at the top edge of the axis. Grid lines. Right now we have the default grid lines. If we go into the grid lines option and choose primary horizontal grid lines, you'll see that currently major grid lines is selected. If you would like more grid lines than this, choose major and minor grid lines. Or if you'd like to get rid of the grid lines, go to grid lines, primary horizontal grid lines, and choose none. Well, I think you get the idea. That's just a sampling of all the built-in choices. I've added a second worksheet here with an identical chart. Go to the Elements tab. If you'd like to pause the user interface, you're more than welcome to experiment with all the other settings on the Layout tab. I'm going to go on to the Data Labels sheet. Charting experts have an interesting take on data labels. Select the chart. Go to the Layout ribbon, and we want to add data labels to this chart. Open the Data Labels dropdown. We have choices to add labels to the center, that's right in the middle of each chart. The inside end, that would be right at the top of each column, but inside the blue. Inside base would be at the bottom of each column, or my favorite, outside end. Choose outside end. Excel adds data labels to the top of each column. Now, a lot of people say there's no reason to have redundancy. If you're going to add data labels to the column, you no longer need the numbers along the left axis. If we choose axes, primary vertical axis, and then none, you'll save all the ink on the left-hand side and create a chart where everyone knows the exact value of each column.